Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing today?
Tired. How are you doing?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's a standard, right?
Yeah.
Like we're just tired. I agree. Sometimes I can't figure out because sometimes it seems like the days go so fast, but then the week goes slow, but then it goes fast. I can't keep it straight. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I might not want to share my screen yet. I don't know if I put it up yet. Hmm, we'll see. Just a sec. All right. I'll share my screen in just a minute. I know I'm sharing it right now, but my OneNote is not synced for some reason. So we will pause for just a second. So it's Thunderbird Thursday, and I want to make sure that I just saw that our schedules are updated, which is really good, which means there's names on the schedule now, which is really nice for fall. So I know they've been doing a lot of work on updating those names on the schedule. So if you were trying to register, but you didn't have a name on the schedule, for the teachers that you were looking for, that may be up now for you, which is good. So, um, and then I just found out that there is a health and wellness fair that's going on yesterday and today on campus. Well, not on campus, but virtually. So I wanted to tell you about that. So I have a link to it. They have some events after our class. Um, so that's good. Let me see if I can get those slides up. Let's see if it's synced now. There we go. All right. So fall class registration and then the Thunderbird Wellness Fair. Just in case you're interested, there's some links. I can send you the other information. So today they have a boot camp fitness workshop that starts at 10:30. And then at 11:15, they have a panel with nursing students, with current nursing students. So I'll put the schedule. Actually, I'll just put a link to this. Sometimes they don't make the documents real easy to share with you. So that's why sometimes I just copy and paste. And then they have, so this is today's schedule for the wellness fair. So you can't go to the 9 o'clock because we're in here. But at 10:30, they have a boot camp fitness workshop by, I don't know if that's Lisa or Liza. I don't know that person. And it has our president, our MCC president, Lori Berkwam. If you've never met her, that would be a fun session to attend. She is great. And then at 11:15, panel discussion with current nursing students. I think some of you are going into nursing, so that might be a panel you want to attend. At noon, they have a health topic, STI awareness, and LGBTQ plus resources. And then at 1:30, a fitness workshop, Pilates. So if you have any interest in that, that's something that's going on online. And so the links are right here in this slide for all the sessions, as well as the meeting number and the access code. And I can put those in the chat right now too, if you're interested in that. I'll put that right there. All right. So, any questions about Thunderbird Thursday, or something I don't that's going on campus or virtually? I just got a big message about our return to work plan, like return back to campus. It seems like by like August 2nd, they may be starting to allow some students back on campus. Otherwise, they're also trying to balance continuing a lot of these virtual services that students found more convenient than driving all the way to campus, finding a place to park, getting on campus, right, and doing all those things. So they're trying to find a nice balance between keeping some of those services virtual, even when you can go on campus. So it's not too much of a struggle. How many of you are already registered for fall? Who's registered for fall? No one, not one person in here is registered for fall. That's depressing. So question, why are you waiting? Some of you aren't going to take classes in the fall. I know that. Like Josh, who's not here, Josh is done after this semester, which maybe Yesenia is done too. Is that right? Yeah, Yesenia is done too. But a lot of you still have to take more classes, right? Who still has classes to take? Olivia does. AJ does. Ashley does. Valerie, Aaron, Angelina, do you have more to take or you're unsure?
I'm registered for the classes that I can sign up for, but there are some where I have to, I can't, it won't approve me until I'm done with my prerequisites.
Got it. And so talk to your advisor too about that, Aaron, because sometimes your advisor can override that and get you in the class right now if you're just waiting for these semester grades, right? So they might be able to put you in, and then if something happens and you're not successful, which I don't think would happen, but I'm just saying like then they would just drop you after that. So, but sometimes it's nice to get in the class now so you make sure you know your schedule and you have a spot so it doesn't get used up. So talk to your advisor, because like I have 2 classes that I teach that require prerequisites, not this one, but my other classes that I teach. And students can get in there right now, even though they're just finishing up their prerequisite. So, but the only way they can get in, they can't talk to me. They have to talk to their advisor, and their advisor can put them in. So that's another scenario that is very helpful. All right. Any questions, concerns, problems? How was homework last night? Anyone notice anything good, bad? Oh, Olivia says good. I feel good about that. If you were like, oh, we had homework, that's not good, right? But hopefully you got finished. Okay, let's talk our final project. Anyone want to talk about it? Yeah, I thought so. So I'm going to put a couple links in the chat for our final exam project so you can see what it is. Okay. Sorry, I don't know why this is, and my technology is not cooperating today at all. All right. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the chat so I can find it too from my iPad. Okay, so here's your final exam project. So what's listed at the top? I don't know why my iPad's being so cuckoo with Google Docs lately. A little annoying. Okay, so in that grid, those are our course competencies. So we have some finance competencies, some statistics competencies, and some probability competencies. Then, so you're going to look through there and you're going to read those and you're going to figure out which one you want to address in your final presentation. So then, and you want it to relate to your program of study, hopefully. Then on step 2, you're going to make a slideshow presentation, which I have a template for, to to our class on final presentation day. We'll talk more about that. So you're going to teach the audience as if they don't know that concept. Okay. You're going to choose a problem to solve that the class has not yet solved. So hopefully write your own problem. You're going to be teaching it through the lens of your field of study or interest to give meaningful context. So for example, Yesenia is in real estate, right? So Yesenia might choose the finance module, right? And she might choose a scenario that's specific to, here's a home you want to purchase. This is how much you have to put down. You know, how much will your payments be? And then how much will you actually be paying for the house? Those are some problems that we're going to get to when we get into loans. So if you look under the finance module, that would be that first competency, solve applications involving loans and amortization. Okay. So maybe that's what Yesenia is going to look like. Some others of you might be doing dental hygiene. Is anyone in here in dental hygiene? No. Is anyone in nursing? What is your program of study? How do I not know this now? Olivia and Aaron, Aaron, yours is maybe criminal justice. Am I close?
Mine is journalism.
Journalism. Okay.
Yeah.
So journalism could be anything, right, that you're interested in, because journalists write about a lot of things. But specifically, Aaron, you might be interested in some version of like some topic, like maybe something worldwide, and you might use statistics for it, right? So if you're interested in that, you could go to the statistics module and say, oh, remember how we have a lot of graphs, right? A lot of different kinds of graphs in the statistics module. Maybe you want to teach someone how to read a graph accurately, right? Because when you do journalism, you often refer to statistics or graphs. And so you might need to do that. Or you might go, how am I going to make a living as a journalist? That might be a separate issue. And so you're going to go, oh, I'm going to do the finance module too, but I'm going to look at annuities. How am I going to be able to retire if I'm on a journalist salary? So you might do some research on how much the average journalists make in a particular area, in a particular field of journalism. And then you might plan for your retirement for that. Okay, so it can be personal related to your career, or it can be actual career related. Ashley said political science and economics. Ashley, you could do so much with that. It's probably, you could do our statistics or our finance module. Probability might be a little questionable unless we're talking about projections. But finance and statistics, pick a topic you're real interested in, and then just use those finance or statistics through that lens to look at it. Okay. So while you're thinking about it, if you want to bounce some ideas off me, like when we're in breakout rooms, or you want to send me an email, those kind of things, that sounds great. I'll look at your presentation in advance if you want, right? So I can make sure you're on the right track. So the math has to be correct, obviously, and you have to use commonly accepted notation. You're going to present for 5 minutes using the slideshow. You can talk live or you can audio record. And I've had students do both, right? Some students feel fine live doing it, right? They just have good notes and they're fine. Some people are concerned that they won't be in that 5-minute time frame. So they pre-record so they don't talk too long, right? Because usually when we talk live, we talk longer than we think. Okay. And you can just record it right there, and we can press play. Now you still have to be here when we present, right? Even if you pre-record. So after you do your 5-minute presentation, you're going to answer questions from the class. Okay. And that's part of your grade. You'll see the rubric in a minute. That part of your grade is how you do asking questions, paying attention, right? So that's also part of your final presentation. So you can't just do your presentation and ignore everybody else. And then here's the rubric. No, this is not the updated rubric. I know I have an updated rubric. Hold on. I don't know why I put this in here. I will make sure. Let me show you the template before I show you the rubric. since that rubric was not the right one that was linked. And I'll post this later today so you have all of this. Something weird is going on with my Google Drive. Is anyone else having issues with their Google Drive? Just me. I'm the lucky one. Okay. So here is the link. Okay, so I did it in Google Slides. You can just make your own copy of it. You can change the colors, you can change anything you want, or you can leave it the same. For me as a student, I always wanted some starting point. So that's what I tried to give you. You can make it completely your own. So you're going to have a title and a presentation and your name. So, and I tell you, you can delete this. What I want, the goal is 10 slides that automatically advance every 30 seconds. So you know how long you're taking to do things. You should have a title slide with your name, the topic, which includes that course competency from that table, an application that relates to your program of study, a new problem that you solve and explain, and any citations. So if you took data from somewhere, like we were talking about Aaron's or Ashley's talking about in their industry, if you took data from somewhere, I need to know where that data came from, right? You can't just have the data and not cite it. Here's some directions if you've never worked in Google Slides, how to do things, okay? And then how to share it. So consider an introduction, explain the course competency you chose and how it relates to your program of study. Teach the competency as if the class doesn't know, make sure you use correct vocabulary. And then continue your explanation, that might take a couple slides. Introduce your new problem, and then your solution, and that might take a couple slides. And then your conclusion, any reflection, so what did you learn by completing this project? Like, hopefully you figure out by doing this project, why on earth did I have to take this math class for my degree? That's the goal, okay? And then lastly, you're going to have any final thoughts. You're going to open it up to questions from the audience. And if you have any citations necessary for images, data, etc. Okay. So it's a pretty generic, right, template, but you can make it your own. It can be whatever you want. All right. So while I'm looking for the updated version of your rubric, what questions do you guys have about the final exam project?
Did you already say what day was presentation day?
We will start on May 12th, which is the Wednesday, because we are not having class on that Thursday because I'm going to be out of town. That we should have already been done with class. Remember that? I'm going to my son's graduation in Nebraska, so I can't be in town on Thursday, May 13th. But then we will finish presentations on Monday, May 17th. Okay, so we should be done. I have Tuesday. I'm going to show you a calendar in just a second. We could do it May 18th too if we need it. Okay, like if we run out of time, but I don't think we will. Let me go to that calendar, but I don't know why my final exam, my rubric is wrong because I know I updated it. I know I have it. So, but while I'm looking for that, I will show you a calendar of what we have left because that will definitely help you. Here you go. So today we're doing APY. That's where we are on this Thursday, right? All right. So here's where we are today. Then next week, we're going to do annuities and payout annuities. On the 29th, we are going to, I have it scheduled for you to work on your final project or the part 2 of your car project. So that's going to be like a work day. That's going to be a great day if you have questions for me or if you forgot to start your final project. That's going to be a great day to get started on that. And then we're going to do loans, and then we're going to have a finance quiz on May 6th. I may do another smaller quiz sometime next week, but we'll see, because I could do another small quiz. And then we're going to do dimensional analysis on the 10th, proportional reasoning on the 12th, the 11th, and then the 12th, we can start our presentations on that day if we're ready. And then this day, the 13th, no class. And on this Monday, May 17th, final presentations. Does that help you see the calendar a little bit, Olivia? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'm super annoyed I can't find that rubric because I know it's attached to something. But I told you my Google Drive's being cuckoo right now. So we're just going to be patient with that. All right, so let's read question 1. What can we say about simple interest versus interest compounded annually? Anyone have an answer to what the difference between those things are? Like which is more, which is less, that kind of thing?
Compound change. And
Compound, what?
compound changes, and then the other, like, interest makes more over time.
Yeah, which one should make more, compound or simple?
Simple. Interest.
Simple interest makes the least amount. Compound interest makes more. Okay, and if you look at our formulas, you'll be able to see it. We did our exit ticket yesterday, right? Our exit ticket yesterday, I had simple interest versus compound interest. And our simple interest, let me find that problem. Our simple interest, we started out, I think it was $4,000, wasn't it? I'm going to pull up that exit ticket because that'll help you see it. And I think some people struggled on that exit ticket yesterday. So let me pull that up. Okay. I'm telling you, my computer is not feeling well. It's literally just blank and with a frowny face. Oh, I did get a frowny face. Does that make you feel better? I don't know what is happening. Okay, I'm gonna look it up a different way, I hope. Oh no, it's not in there because it's a Google form. Oh, I'm so sad. Whatever's happening is not good. I sent some emails, so maybe I can look at my email. It's very stressful. Okay, exit ticket incorrect. Here we go. Okay, so the first question was, you deposit $4,000 into an account. Find the value at the end of 10 years if it earns 5% simple interest. Okay, so that's the question. That's the first one. So try this one right here. You deposit $4,000 into an account. It's simple interest. So our formula for simple interest, and we had some confusion yesterday. Interest equals principal times rate times time. And then you're given 3 versions of the A formula. One says A equals P plus I. One says A equals P plus PRT. And then the last one says A equals P times 1 plus RT. Yeah, so we have all those versions for simple interest. And then we have ones that say R equals and T equals and P equals. So some of you might be confused. All three of these are really the same. I don't know if you can tell, but all they did on this second one was they changed this I to PRT. And then the only thing they did from this formula to the last one is they just rearranged it. They took the P out so it'd be easier for you to plug in. But so don't get confused. You can use any of the formulas. A lot of you, when we did it in class, were using these two together. That's what you were doing. So you were first finding interest, and then you were adding principal and interest together. Does that sound familiar, like your strategy? Okay. So when you did this, if you did I equals principal times rate times time, what's principal in this problem?
4,000.
Yep, 4,000. And then the rate is, I think I said 5% simple interest, right? And then time is 10 years. So the mistake some of you made, you multiplied all these together correctly, and then you got the interest and you wrote 2,000 and you answered $2,000 for this question. But that's not what the question was asking. The question didn't ask how much interest. The question said how much is in the account or how much is the investment worth. So the investment is worth, I take A equals P plus I. So I get 4,000 plus 2,000. So my investment is worth $6,000 if I did simple interest. Okay. But if I did compound interest, what's the formula that we would use for that? It doesn't look the same, right? The formula for compound is A equals P times 1 plus R divided by T raised to the N times T power. Yeah. So if we do the second part of the exit ticket, the second part of the exit ticket said, okay, you deposit $4,000. You want to know how much it's worth in 10 years, but the 5% is compounded annually. So I just put that one in the chat. So A equals 4,000 times 1 plus 0.05 divided by 1 times 1 to the 1 times 10 power. So compute that one and tell me what you get. Put that answer in the chat, because basically we invested the same amount of money, $4,000, for 10 years at 5% interest. Just in one scenario, it was simple interest. In the other scenario, it was compounded annually. So this should tell us which one makes more money. So try that. Okay, do you have an answer for this one? Good job, Ashley. You can hit enter or send it to me directly if you have an answer. I'm sorry, I didn't say 3, 2, 1. Okay, now, so we learned how to do it in compound interest with the TVM solver or the formula. So either way, you should be okay. So you should get $6,515.58. So do you see when you compare these two investments, one at simple interest and one at compound interest, the compound interest made more. It made $515.58 more. And if you want to put it in your TVM solver, we would put in, we have 10 years and it's only compounded annually, right? 5% interest. Our present value, we invested $4,000. And our future value is what we're solving for. And our PY and CY would be 1. So there's our answer of $6,515.58. So you should make more on compound. And the reason you do is because at the end of 1 year, when it's compounded, with simple interest, you would take your interest out. With compound interest, you leave your interest in the bank. And so the next year, your principal has increased because you made money off that investment. Does that make sense? Okay, Aaron, I'm so happy you told me that because that is such a common mistake. So Aaron's answer, I'm going to share it because those mistakes help everyone. Aaron's answer was a little too low and you might not know why it's too low. So he put 0.05 in the interest. So when he solved it, it came up with only $4,020. So if it seems like you didn't get enough money back, make sure you check that. And it's very confusing because if you're going back from formulas to TVM solver, in the formula, you have to put it in as a decimal. In the TVM solver, you have to put it in as a whole number, or you have to make it a percent. Okay, so I'm so happy you told me how you made that mistake. So when I see that number again later from someone else, I know where it came from. All right, so compound interest should make us more money. Now, what about if we compounded it more often? So if we did this same problem and we changed it to compounding monthly, should we make more money or less money than compounded annually?
More.
Yeah. Every time we compound, the more times we compound, the more money we make. And you can see it pretty easily on here. So if I change it from 1, even if I just change it to 2, and I click solve, wait, what just happened? Doesn't that seem wrong? Maybe I didn't push the button yet. Let's check. Yeah, why is that lower? I'll change it back to 1. Should be more if I change it to 2. Hold on. Okay, why is it going down? What is happening right now? That should not be happening. Do you see the problem? Oh, I know why. I know why. What did I forget to change?
N.
And
Capital N. Very nice, Olivia. Olivia's like, I don't know why she doesn't know that she's wrong, but she is wrong. Yeah, so I can't just change the PY and CY. I have to change my N as well. So this would be 4,000. So when I change this, let's go back, make it right again. So this is what it was originally, $6,515.58. If I want to change this to 12, that's fine. But I need to change this instead of 10 times 1, it's going to be 10 times 12. And 10 times 12 is going to be 120. So now when I click solve, my number goes up. Yeah, doesn't go up by a lot, but it did go up. So you have to make sure you change capital N and PYCY. Okay. So if you're shopping around, what you should look for, if you're getting an investment, you want the highest interest rates you can get that's compounded the most often you can get. Yes, because that will make you more money. Now, the reverse is also true. If you're taking out a loan or charging something on your credit card, you want the lowest possible interest rate you're being charged, right? And you want it compounded as infrequently as possible. Yeah, because you don't want to get charged a lot of money. So that brings us to APY. I'll put the formula in the chat in just a second. So what is APY? Usually we hear about APR, which is your annual percentage rate. So how many of you get credit card mailers in the mail? Anyone? Yeah, and it's like, ooh, the special interest rate, right? Look carefully the next time you get one and see if they're reporting APY or APR, because they're different, okay? APY is the real rate of return, or the real thing you're being charged, okay? So APY takes into account the compounding of interest, whereas APR does not. APR kind of pretends it's just annually, okay? If you want to read about this further, because this fascinates you and you've been thinking about what's the difference, you can click on that yellow link in the chat where it says extra APY versus APR. But here's the formula. APY on the TVM solver is possible, but I feel like it's more confusing. So on an APY question, you just want to stick to the formula, in my opinion. So it's better to just leave it the formula. And on your quiz that we usually take for this, we usually only do one of these APY problems, okay? Now, APY is higher than APR. So here's the formula for you. I just put it in the chat. So you have that formula sheet, maybe. And so notice we know all these letters already, right? We know R, we know N, and then we're just going to plug it into this formula. So, and I just have a little more explanation here. Sometimes places advertise APR instead of APY, and it's important you're comparing the same thing in order to see what you're earning on an investment or what you're being charged on a loan. So if you're looking at two different loan companies or two different credit cards, make sure you're comparing APR to APR instead of APR to APY, because it's not comparing the same thing. Okay, I also have a handout for your examples today. As soon as my computer stops crying. All right, so here's today's examples. And the first one, it'll be right on here too. A bank features a savings account that has an annual percentage rate of 5.1% with interest compounded quarterly. Miranda deposits $3,000 in the account. So part A is just like what we were doing before. So part A, how much money will Miranda have in the account in 1 year? So let's just answer part A. You can use the TVM solver or you can use the formula. I don't care. But get it ready and we'll do it in the chat in just a minute. All right, do you have an answer? Did the handout I gave you even match what I just showed you on the screen? I feel like it didn't. Did it? Did your first problem have Miranda in it? Okay, there's the formula. I put the formula in twice. Wow. It's just not linking my docs right now. I'm a little stressed out about that. Try that one. Okay, Olivia got it right. Good job, Olivia. So if we were doing this problem, if you use the TVM solver, Olivia, which one did you use, TVM or the formula?
I used the formula for this one.
Nice. Okay, so use the formula we just used, right? Excellent. So you use this formula right here. This one. A equals, I don't have my formula sheet in front of me because my screen keeps freezing, which is a little bit stressful for me right now. I don't know about you guys, but it's,
You want me to read out like what I put down?
yes, please. That would be very helpful.
I just put it in Desmos. I did A equals 3,000. Times 1 plus 0.051 over 4, and then multiplied 4 times 1.
And why did you put 4? Can you explain that?
Because it was quarterly, I think, right?
Yep, perfect. So since it's quarterly, you're going to put 4 in there. And then when you solve that, you get $3,155.95. Did anyone get that same answer, but they used the TVM solver? Nice. Excellent. Okay, so like I said, TVM, formula, whatever, you're good. Now we get to say, okay, so what's the annual percentage yield on this? Okay, so let's really calculate what we're earning. So we're going to use that formula APY equals 1 plus R over N to the nth power minus 1 times 100. So in this case, we're going to do 1 plus 0.051 over 4 to the 4th power minus 1 times 100. And you should get something that's a little bit higher than 0.051. And I'll put it in my calculator too. You can try Desmos. So if we go 1 plus 0.051 divided by 4, raised to the 4th power minus 1. Oops. Is that what you got on your calculator? So you can see the 0.051, but do you see how there's a 9 next to it? Yeah, so it's going to be not a whole lot bigger, but when we're talking percentages, it's going to be a little bit different. So you should get maybe 5.1984% or maybe 83%. compared to just 0.051. So you're actually earning a little bit more than 5.1%. Now, when do we see things like this besides in APY? Have you ever noticed at the gas station, it says like your gas is costing $2, let's say it'll say like 2.8999. Do you know how it has that extra 9 on the end? It's almost up to that next cent. So APY is kind of similar to that. When we adjust it, it's going to be a little bit higher that you're earning or that you're being charged. Okay. Did anyone have trouble getting that number? Are you okay? Okay. So it says calculate the APY for an account that pays 5.8% semi-annually, 4.7% compounded quarterly, or 5.9% compounded annually. So just try those. I'm just going to leave us in here because there's not very many of us today. So try those and just chat me your answers when you do these problems. So try numbers 2, 3, and 4. AJ, did you plug into the formula? You're finding APY. You need to use the formula and plug in those numbers that you just sent me into the APY formula because it'll be higher than that. Does that make sense, AJ? So you're going to use this formula right here. This formula. Because you're calculating APY. So for R, you're going to use the numbers they gave you. Does that make sense? Olivia, number 2 is correct. And it would still have a percent sign on it. Okay? It would still have a percent sign because there's still percent. Does anyone need to see an example? Yeah, okay. Let's do another example. So remember, all we're doing is calculating the actual annual percentage yield instead of the APR. So if we look at this one right here, our APY formula is this. APY equals 1 plus R over N to the nth power minus 1 times 100. Okay, so we know that it pays 5.8% compounded semi-annually. So I'm just going to plug that in. So I'm going to say APY equals 1 plus 0.058 divided by N, which in this case is 2. Why is N 2?
It's semi-annually, so it's only 2
Very
times.
nice. Semi-annually, that happens 2 times a year. So, and then raised to the 2 power minus 1. So if I put this in my calculator, I'm going to be able to see what the annual percentage yield is compared to the APY. Now, I don't know if you figured this out, Olivia, if you're using Desmos, but you can just go back in here and edit this. So you don't have to clear it and type it all again. So we could just change this instead of 0.051. I'm going to delete that 1 and put an 8. I'm going to delete that 4 and put a 2. I'm going to delete that 4 if I can get there and make it a 2. And then it gives me the APY. So if you're using Desmos, you can even just edit that. If you're using a calculator, Valerie, and you want to not type the whole thing again, if you're using this graphing calculator, you can use these arrows and up arrow to the formula or the equation that you put in. And if you hit enter, it'll copy that same formula, and then you can use your arrows to edit it. So you can edit it on your calculator just like you can edit it on the Desmos calculator. Did that help, Aaron, Yesenia? Did that help?
Do we round it all or anything, or do we just keep it as what it is?
So in more, I should look and see, because I think they really do make you go to like 4 decimal places on the APY. We can take a look. I'll look at that assignment. So on this one, I didn't round. I just wrote that 5.8841%. And I'll look at more and see what it asks us to do, because it was a little bit different on this one. It'll tell you how many decimal places to go to. Let me see, APY. They said hundredths on this one. Oh, maybe they're only going to the nearest hundredth. Sometimes it's nice to go further than hundredths because you can't tell the difference, right? Oh, so on this one, they make you go to 4 decimal places because they're too close to compare. So just on each problem, read where it wants you to round to. Okay. All right. So now can you try number 3 and number 4? And let me see on my slides where I rounded to. And I should add that to directions. I went to 4 decimal places on all of them. Okay, now I'm getting some answers. I don't like when my computer says my whole thing crashed. That I don't appreciate that at all. Let me tell you. Oh, I think the directions on the worksheet that I gave you said round to 4 decimal places, because I was just going to add it. So Malachi, go back and look at them to 4 decimal places. Aaron, yes. On number 3. And Ashley, if you went to 4 decimal places, then yes, you'd be correct. There you go. AJ, don't forget your percent sign, okay? These should all have percents on them because there still are percent yields. Yes, Olivia and Aaron, good job on number 4. Malachi, number 4, wait, number 2, I got a different answer than you. AJ, good job. That is not what I got, Ashley. Maybe you put in the wrong N for that one. Did you put in 1 for N on that one? There you go, Malachi. Yesenia, are you getting these?
I'm still working on it, but I know that the answer I have is wrong, so I'm trying
Okay.
to find the right answer.
Are you using Desmos or what are you using?
I'm using Desmos, but I'm checking it with another APY like calculator, and then I know that I think the one that I have on Desmos is wrong.
Okay. So what APY calculator are you using?
I'm using like an actual alone one to check it.
Yeah, because depending on where that source is,
Mhm.
sometimes they're not accurate.
You're right. Okay.
Like when we do our car project, that's why I say you can't use the car loan calculator from them because believe it or not, they fib on some things.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. So you have to be careful.
Send it to.
All right, so I'm going to reveal the answers and see that you got them all. And then I want to do this last one to kind of make sure we're understanding what we're really doing because you get real good at plugging things into a calculator, but I'm not sure you're really thinking about what's happening, right? Or why we even care, right? That's probably where you are right now. You're like, why do I even care about this, right? So do you see on that next problem on the worksheet, it says, calculate the APY for an account that pays 6%, right? And you can even think of what about an account that charges 6%. That might be another way to look at it. So basically we have daily, monthly, and annually. And you want to calculate the APY for each one. I want you to just think for a minute. And for my brain, it might be easier to think of someone charging me instead of me earning the money, because that's when I see APY. I see APY when they send me credit card promotional things in the mail. So which one do you think would be the highest? Which one do you think would be the lowest? And, you know, kind of think it through when you do it. So you might say, oh, does anyone have a prediction? Which one do they think they would be the highest of APY? Do you think it would be compounded daily, monthly, or annually?
Annually?
You think that's the highest or the lowest, Malachi?
Highest?
Okay, so Malachi thinks this one's the highest, and Valerie put in the chat that she thinks this one's the highest. So let's calculate them and figure it out. Okay, so calculate APY for daily, monthly, and annually, and see what you think. Anyone know what N would be for daily? Very nice, Aaron. 365. 365 because that's how many days there are in a year. Okay, so that's what daily would be. Olivia, great job. Ashley, good job on that part A. So Olivia, are you surprised by that? Or is that what you expected?
I expected, because I just assume if it's compounded, like more, every time it's compounded, you get more money. So daily would be the highest because it's the most times it's compounded.
Nice, good. AJ, good job. Very nice. Make sure there's a percent sign on there, Valerie, okay? Good job, Aaron. Valerie, make sure you're going to 4 decimal places like those directions say, okay? Good job on part C. Good job, Aaron. All right, so spoiler alert, there's our 3 APYs, yeah? And Olivia was correct, and so was, I think it was Valerie, who said the more times you compound it, the higher your actual APY is, because it's taking into consideration all those compounding interests. So if you get something in the mail, sometimes these are kind of close together. Let's say one advertisement says APR and another advertisement says APY, right? Well, APY is the actual one. So this is what you want to look at, or just be careful and make sure you're comparing APRs to APRs and you know when they're compounded, how often, because otherwise you're comparing different things. So here's an example of when you would need to compare it. So 2 banks are offering investment opportunities. One of my students in my other class was talking about investing like in the stock market. So, and that investing is a little bit different, but so just be careful and be very knowledgeable if you're investing, okay, in some things. So Bank A offers an account that pays 2.03% compounded annually. Bank B says they pay 2% compounded daily. So do you see how those are close together? 2.03 and 2 are close together, but one is being compounded annually and one is being compounded daily. So we can't really compare those until we compare APYs. When we compare APYs, we might be able to figure it out, okay? So compute both of those APYs and tell me which is the better investment opportunity for you to earn the most money. Would it be Bank A or would it be Bank B? So try that and go to 4 decimal places. And then in the chat, just type in Bank A or Bank B, and then we'll talk about it, okay? I got a couple answers. Okay, were you able to calculate both of those? They're pretty close together, right? Yeah, so you have to be careful. Now, did you notice if you did Bank A compounded annually, the APR and the APY are the same, yeah? Because that's what it's adjusting. So it was really Bank B that was going to change, right? Very nice, AJ. So here's our two APYs, 2.03 and 2.0201. Now notice that Bank B went from 2% up to 2.02%. So it almost caught up, right? So, but Bank A is still the better opportunity because it's a higher number. That's if you're investing. Now, if it's a credit card advertisement, you'll want Bank B, right? Because they're charging you less interest. Okay. All right. So you have practice problems if you want to do them. You don't have to because I know you have your mini lesson that's due tonight. So your mini lesson is due tonight. Your PF6 more practice is due Friday. And then you have a PF7 mini lesson due Sunday. Okay. And I put a little note there to start working on your final project. And my Google Drive has literally crashed now, so I cannot find that new rubric, but I'll put it up this afternoon. You'll see a whole final exam project section if it's not already there. Okay. So there's your exit ticket. So APY is kind of different than what we have been doing. So, you know, just know that you need to use the formula for it. And you have to go out to more decimal places a lot of times. Okay, once you finish your exit ticket, you can go. I'm pulling it up right now. And have a great weekend. I will see you Monday. Yeah, I can't pull up anything right now. I hope you can see if you got it right, because I can't, because I can see nothing. Because I'm having computer problems. All right, let me know if you have any questions.